Good afternoon. Today is day 2 of the Good Wealth Protectionist Power 10-day sprint, and we gather here at the historic Mary McLeod Bethune Council House in Washington, D.C., and I cannot think of a more fitting place for today's conversation, because Mary McLeod Bethune understood something that every generation must eventually learn. Knowledge is power, not because knowledge changes the world by itself, but because knowledge changes people and people change the world. She spent her life opening doors that had been closed, building opportunities where none existed, teaching people things society said they didn't need to know, and today we continue that tradition because there is another door that has remained closed for far too many families, a door called financial protection. And if we are serious about changing the future of our communities, then we must be serious about opening it. Yesterday we launched a movement. Today we begin the education, because movements do not survive on passion alone. They survive on understanding. And understanding begins with truth. The truth is that most families do not wake up one morning and decide to leave their loved ones unprotected. Most families simply never have the conversation. Most families never ask the question. Most families never receive the education. And so life keeps moving. The bills get paid. The children get fed. The birthdays get celebrated. The years pass, and one day something unexpected happens. A phone call, an accident, a diagnosis, a loss, and suddenly a family discovers that what they thought was a financial plan was actually a financial hope. And hope is not a strategy. I learned something years ago in leadership, in business, and in life. The strongest organizations are not the ones that never face adversity. They are the ones that prepare for adversity before it arrives. The same is true for families, and that is why we are here today. Not to talk about death, not to talk about fear, not to talk about worst case scenarios. We are here to talk about love, because protection is love in action. Protection says if I cannot be there tomorrow, I want to make sure the people I love are still okay. Protection says my family should be able to grieve without immediately worrying about money. Protection says the people I care about deserve options, and options create power. That is why our movement exists. Protection is power. Every family, every community, every future. Now, let me share something that most Americans misunderstand. When people hear the words life insurance, many immediately think one thing, death. But that is too small of a definition. Life insurance is really about continuity. It is about making sure life continues for the people you love. The mortgage continues, the rent gets paid, the lights stay on, the children stay in school, the family has time to heal, the future remains intact. And yet millions of Americans have never been shown how these tools actually work. So today let's talk facts, not opinions. Facts. Industry studies consistently show that Americans overestimate the cost of life insurance by 3 to 5 times. Think about that. Many people have convinced themselves they cannot afford protection without ever finding out what protection actually costs. They assume, they guess, they delay, and sometimes delay becomes the most expensive decision of all. Now let me address some of the most common objections. I can't afford it. Maybe, maybe not. But have you actually checked? Because many healthy individuals can qualify for term life insurance coverage at a cost lower than what they spend each month on streaming subscriptions, dining out, or everyday conveniences. The question isn't always affordability. Sometimes the question is awareness. Another objection, I'm too young. Actually, youth is often an advantage. The younger and healthier you are, the more options you typically have available. Waiting doesn't usually make protection cheaper. Waiting usually makes it more expensive. Another objection, I'll get to it later. But later is not a date on the calendar. Later is where plans go to die. Later is what people say when they know something is important but haven't acted yet. And the reality is that life does not schedule emergencies. Now, I want to talk about something many people have heard about, but few people truly understand: cash value. Because this is where many families stop listening. The conversation gets too technical. The terminology becomes confusing. So let's simplify it. Certain permanent life insurance policies do more than provide protection. They can also accumulate cash value over time. Think about that for a moment. protection and accumulation working together. Now, this isn't magic. It isn't a shortcut. It isn't right for every person or every situation. But for some families, it can become part of a larger strategy. Because whether you realize it or not, you're already going to spend money throughout your life. You're going to buy vehicles. You're going to help children with education. You're going to face unexpected expenses. You're going to make major financial decisions. The question becomes, can some of your planning tools help support those goals while also providing protection? That is a conversation worth having, and that is why education matters. Because wealthy families often ask a different question. They don't simply ask, what does this cost? They ask, what does this do? And those are two very different conversations. That is why the purpose of this 10-day sprint is not to sell policies. The purpose is to create conversations, real conversations, honest conversations, necessary conversations, conversations between husbands and wives, parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren, friends and coworkers, church members and neighbors. Conversations that ask, are you protected? Do you know your options? Have you reviewed your coverage? Do your beneficiaries reflect your wishes? Because one conversation can change a family's future. One conversation can prevent years of hardship. One conversation can become a turning point. And if you don't know where to start, you're not alone. That is why the Good Wealth team is here. That is why our partners at Northwestern Mutual are here. Not to pressure anyone, not to rush anyone, not to create fear, but to answer questions, to provide education, to help families understand options they may never have known existed, because information changes outcomes, and informed families make better decisions. Now, let me be clear about our mission between now and Juneteenth. We are not measuring success by likes. We are not measuring success by views. We are not measuring success by shares. We are measuring success by conversations. Did you talk to your parents? Did you talk to your spouse? Did you talk to your children? Did you talk to your best friend? Did you talk to someone you love? Because movements don't grow through algorithms. They grow through people. One conversation at a time, one family at a time, one community at a time. So before day 3 arrives, I want you to do 3 things. Learn what has been hidden. Protect what you love. Teach the next generation. Because protection is not fear. Protection is preparation. Protection is responsibility. Protection is love. And love plans ahead. My name is Rahdric C, founder of Good Wealth, and this is day 2 of the Protection is Power 10-day sprint. Now go have the conversation. Protection is power. Every family, every community, every future.